All right, it is time for our pre-challenge bonus training. And the purpose of tonight is really to set the groundwork for the challenge that is going to start on Monday. So first, I'm going to go through just a couple housekeeping details, and let me pull up my notes here. The official challenge is on Monday, July 27th. It will be 5 days. We're going to do the live portion of the challenge at 12 o'clock Central. So if you can't catch it live, I'll post the Zoom recording in the group, okay? So when we lay the groundwork for tonight, if any of this is like, yeah, that's not what I signed up for, that's okay. But I'm gonna lay the groundwork and make it very clear what these next 5 days are about. So there's no questions what we're all going into and what we expect out of it. So I'm really excited about tonight. I think it's super, super important that we go through this part. So I know y'all are probably like, teach me how to do it. And some of you on my team are like, put the pieces together for me. But this is so important. So Monday through Friday next week, 12 o'clock Central, every day we'll have homework, and you will need to have that homework done in order for the next day to make sense. So it's going to be busy, but it's going to be very on purpose. And y'all came here for results. You didn't come here to play. You didn't come here for fun. You're like, I need to make this work. So that's what we're going to do. There is homework already posted in the group that's due by Sunday, and that's just go do a very quick live, introduce yourself, and say, hey, let us know what you're expecting out of the challenge. So if you haven't done that yet, that's okay. And if you've never hit the live button, this is the safest place for you to do it. Because y'all, my very first live was on my Facebook, like my regular Facebook profile, mid-January 2019, and I was like so nervous to hit the button. And I was like, I just hope somebody dies or gets sick or something during this so I can shut it down. And at the end of it, my child really did vomit all over the floor, but he waited till I was done. So I know how terrifying live can be, live video. But if you're going to do virtual parties, they will be most effective if you do them live. I've done them in other ways. We can talk about a variety of options, but they are far more effective if you can go live. So your first homework, I know Diane did it, Jessica did it, Lindsay did it. Who else is on? Lynn's on. So Misha, girl, you gotta jump in there, go introduce yourself real quick. No more than 2 minutes. And then what I want from everybody is just to go connect, because we're all Arbonne consultants, but we're not all my downline. 3 people on this call are my downline. 3 people, I don't even know, and this is just for the live people right now, I don't even know if Misha, Diane, Lynn, Tana, Wendy, Justin, all the people who aren't in my downline, I don't know if y'all are connected any other way than we all just do Arbonne. So we want to support each other and understand we're all doing the same thing. So get to know each other a little bit, okay? So that's important. So if you just jumped in, we just went over kind of how the challenge is gonna go over the next 5 days. So let's lay the groundwork. This is gonna be a come to Jesus meeting. This is gonna be like, you're gonna be like, this is not what I signed up for, peace out, or yes, I am stinking ready. So we need to make sure we're all on the same page. You guys told me that you want more sales, that you want more hostesses, that you want people to engage, that maybe you want to get more comfortable on the lives, or you want to learn how to get more passionate in your live videos, that you want business builders, that you want a simple and effective way to build your business, and you don't want to have to leave your hotel room or your home. That is why you're here, okay? So if you're serious about that, and there's all kinds of other things that I didn't even list all the list of things that y'all are looking for. If you're serious about that, parties work. Virtual parties work. In-home parties work. I don't care how you get in front of people. Your job is to tell the story, but you guys have chosen virtual parties. If you're in my downline, it's probably because I've never taught you different. You just did what I taught you. Some of us have done Arbonne for a long time. We've done home parties. We know that they work. Maybe it's COVID, maybe it's 52 kids, maybe it's a sick parent. Something's making you want to not go into homes anymore, and you've chosen virtual. So just please know that they do work, but right now you don't have all the skills that you need in order to do them well. And that's what the next 5 days will be about. So accept that you're not there yet. Accept that by the end of the 5 days, you will have enough skills to put this into action. So that's what's going to happen. Okay, so I'm gonna pop in something real quick. This will be really good if anybody gets on here that's new, and really good if you're not in my downline, so that we're very united, because I think across Arbonne we are. But what we're taught in Arbonne, and if this is, please type in the chat if you're like, I've never heard this before. What we have always been taught in Arbonne, and I've done Arbonne for 13 years, is to get in front of 40 people a month. So if 40 faces is not familiar to you, please type that in the comments below. I want to share something with you guys, and I know this might be like, I know Diane's seen it. This might be something that other teams have not seen, but this all should be digestible, make sense to you. If it would be right where I had it ready to go. Okay, fine, I'll just go reopen it, whatever. We'll reopen it. I want to share with you this page here, because before we really talk about the expectations and what we should really see coming out of virtuals and how to do virtuals, y'all need to know, like, how is this even going to get me to my goal in my business? So I want to focus just on one part of the sheet here, and I want to look at, that might be really large. I want to look at our monthly business goals, and then I want to look at the part that says types of activity, and we are choosing to focus on virtual parties. So every single person, I know I do have one friend in this group, she's not on right now, she does a different business. So if you're not an Arbonne person, or if you haven't seen it explained this way before, this may not make sense. But what we're taught is every single month, if you are serious and you are working a business, you have to share the Arbonne story with 40 new people. That's your 40 faces. Nobody has ever dictated to us how we need to get in front of those 40 people. I am teaching you how to do it through virtual parties, and I'll talk a little bit about what I think is destroying the industry, some of the methods people are using. Even if they're getting in front of 40 faces, I don't think it's going to pan out in the long term for them, but there are other ways to do it. But home parties have always worked. If you've been in Arbonne long enough, we have been taught if you do 8 to 10 parties a month, you'll get in front of, they said, an average of 4 to 5, which is always what we shot for. That will build your $2,500 in sales building block. And from that, now we have preferred customers, but from that, you'll bring in 8 PCs with an ASVP, or 8 PCs with an equivalent sale, and 1 to 2 new business builders. So my team has been through this, and I have been pounding this in, because you have to know where you're going. Like, you have to really know, like, what the goal is of doing this, or it's going to be really easy to quit. So I want you guys to just know your only focus is 40 faces. I need 40 faces on those virtuals next month. That is your only focus. That is called the activity part of our business, right? That's the part you can control. Now, if anybody comes to me and says, man, Kathy, I've got 40 people that I shared the story with. They were on the party, I followed up, they got the information, and I'm not selling nothing. Then we got a skills problem in a different area. But I would almost like put every dollar I have in my bank that most people who aren't where they want to be are not getting in front of 40 people. Y'all type in the chat, like, either way. If you're like, yeah, I've never gotten in front of 40 people consistently, and I'm talking 3 to 6 months before you even evaluate, or yes, I have, and nothing's coming from it. We're going to be able to hit both sides of that in the virtual party training. So I'm going to teach you how to get in front of the 40 faces. We're also going to talk about what to do with those 40 faces to convert the sales and the business builders. So this is all going to come together. But if you just like take a screenshot of this and post it on your little board there, just remember, my job is to get in front of 40. So when you have a party with 1 show up, oh, there's 1 out of the 40, done, bam. Thought I would have 5, but that's all right, I got in front of 1. When we look at the type of activity to get in front of the 40 faces, there's all kinds of ways. I'm going to teach you guys to focus on 8 virtual parties a month. And there's all different kinds of ways to get in front of those 40. So maybe you did do a couple one-on-ones, virtually or in person, or a group discover. And I know that different teams do different things, but we have some of those that you can plug people into. Maybe you did do a home group event. Before COVID, my team was starting to do a once-a-month event just in town to build community, bring some new people in. It didn't end our business whenever COVID hit, because we were used to focusing on virtuals, but whatever the case may be. So you might do your party as a Zoom, you might do your party as a Facebook Live, doesn't matter, but all of these are different ways to get in front of the 40 people. I'm really going to encourage you guys, focus on 8 like minimum 2 parties a week, as your main source of activity if you like what you learn in this. And if you pick other people up through any of the other stuff, let that be extra. I'm going to stop the share. Let that be extra, because what I have seen happen is if you don't do the virtuals enough, and I'm going out of order for my notes, but that's okay. If you don't do the virtuals enough, you're going to stop at 4 parties because there was no sales and there was no guests, and you sat on a live with just you and the hostess, if your hostess showed up, because these are things that I had to go through. I've done parties by myself because the hostess didn't even show up. I've done parties with just the hostess. I've learned so many things that's why we package this challenge together, so you can kind of like skip some of that, hopefully, because I've tested and tried a lot of things. I've purchased other party systems. I've gotten through some of the kinks, and that's the point, is to help y'all. But still, like, even when we were doing home parties, that stuff happened. People cancel at the last minute. The cool thing about virtuals, it just happened to somebody on my team. Last year, my hostess tried to cancel on me. I'm like, girl, you're not canceling. We've already got this set up. Your guests are in the party, and guess what? They won't even know if you're not there. We are not canceling. So it's a whole lot harder for them to cancel virtuals because they have given you the leads and stuff. Okay, so let me get back to my notes. You guys said you wanted to have a business, not a hobby, because hobbies cost money, and hobbies are a great way to spend your free time, and they're fun. But parties can be a great way to spend your free time and be fun and make you money if you do them on purpose enough, okay? So I'm going to teach you 8. I'm going to tell you everybody can do 8 parties a month. If you can't do 8 virtual parties a month, you can't do this business, because what is that? A max of 4 to 5 hours a week? You can't do it as a business, I should say. If you can't give that minimum amount of time to purposeful activity in your business, then you just are going to do Arbonne as a hobby, and nobody's going to be mad at you about that. But don't expect results if you can't do enough consistent activity, and I will not set you up for failure by letting you do any less than that, because you're only going to get better. You're only going to get better. I think I did a month and a half of parties with no results, FYI. Don't worry, I got you set up for a little bit more success than I had. I didn't have a guide, but now if I haven't recruited 70 or 80% of my team, it's 90% that have come through virtuals. And that's where most of my customer base has come from. I told you guys I did Arbonne for 13 years. Some of y'all know my story. I built to region on home parties. In 2012, I walked away from Arbonne, not from my paycheck, not from like my residuals or whatever, but I walked 100% away from business building because I inherited a family business when my mother got sick and passed away. I fell all the way from region, and if you're brand new, this means nothing to you, but over the interim of 5.5 years, I went from region all the way back to a brand new consultant. So when I came back in January 2019, I was just like the brand new girl. I had no team members left that were building their business. I had customers that I probably could pull. I could probably pull still 2,500 in sales, no problem, if I did like a sale. I wasn't doing that residually, like every single month, but I could probably like send out an email to my customers and pull that for 1 month. I had to start over. And when I came back in January 2019, I insisted, I don't care who's doing it, who's not doing it. I am sitting in my closet. And if y'all have seen me before, you know, I'm mostly in my closet. Today I get to be in a hotel room. I am building my business from my closet. I don't know how. I don't understand social media as far as like a business tool. I had never gone Facebook Live prior to that, except maybe like showing my kids like playing soccer or something, never my face talking to people. So just know that they can work, and they are easy to schedule in your life, and you can do this. I don't care what anybody else says. You can do this. And yes, you're going to go through some like parties that do a lot and parties that do a little, and you're only going to get better. They can help you sell, they can help you sponsor, but I need you guys to wrap your mind around the biggest difference between a virtual and a home party. And if you're new, you don't even care, okay? But the difference between a virtual and a home party, in my experience, has been when you leave a virtual party, it's not over. When I used to leave home parties, I either sold, sponsored, made the connection, or I didn't. It was over. For all those super excellent, like Excel spreadsheet, mailing out flyer people that followed up with all the guests who didn't buy. I didn't do any of that. So if a guest didn't take action then and tell me they were interested, then it was over. In the social media world, it doesn't work that way. The amazing part of virtuals is when your consultant or when your hostess hosts a party and puts, Lindsay had her girl put like 167 people in the group. I will not teach you to let them do that. I think it was Lindsay, maybe Jessica. Anyway, they're like, they put like 150 people in the group. We're going to teach them to put anywhere from 5 to 25. But when they give you those leads, and those leads are now in your group, and those people don't take action right now, I'm going to teach you how to friend request them, how to create relationships. And I have seen so many results come out of my parties 2 weeks later, 2 months later, and probably 2 years later. I just haven't even been doing virtuals yet. Because of social media, you get to stay connected with those people who are invited. And because of social media, you get to stay much more connected with your customers. Half of the people on this call found me through social media, right? And I found half my team, or a large part of my team through social media. It's very powerful, and that's the biggest difference. And that is so, so cool for you guys. But that's why I want you to understand, if you're like, Kathy, teach me how to do $500 parties. I will. I just don't know if those 5 people that came to the party are going to spend the 500 then, or if it's going to be in 2 months from now when the timing was right for them. So I'm going to teach you about selling and about creating you as the value so that when they're ready, you're the one that's in front of them. Okay. So I talked a little bit about 13 years ago, home parties. Virtuals can absolutely work. It is a little bit different. You're going to learn skills to keep those relationships going, so that if you don't get the right now action, you're going to just breathe easy in that. What's happening right now on social media that is not working, and why do y'all want to do virtuals? If you're taught to do 40 faces, I personally, and please type in the chat, if you guys know an effective way that's working that doesn't feel grimy and slimy and all the things, tell me what those are. But when I look at my choices of how to really build well on social media, virtual parties have been a fantastic way to bring people to me. My other options are get out my 100 names list and check off my 5 messages a day and message people I haven't talked to in 100 years and have no authentic conversation of any kind, because I've got to get in front of 40 people a month. And in order to get 40 to look at it, I probably have to message 200 a month. Y'all know that game, right? That doesn't work. It's like ruining network marketing, because I got one today. I got 2. One girl's like, happy birthday to you. A recorded, forwarded voice message, which I will teach you how to do that in an effective way. And she's like, I like to gift my friends on their birthday Thrive 3-day pack. So just send me your address and I'll send it to you. And I was like, oh, that's great. I've never talked to you in my life. And I'm super annoyed by that, but I'm also wise to it because I do this kind of a business. I'm like, maybe that works. It's only going to work for so long. And then another girl invited me to her Arbonne books party, which is nice and fun, but I've literally never had a conversation with this girl in my life. She's never commented on my stuff. I've never commented on her stuff. We're in a network of some kind that we're friends, but I'm like, that's not authentic. That may work a little bit, but if it worked a lot, people would be doing that and not be trying to find other ways. So the amount of time it takes to spam people to get a little bit of a result, you can be much more effective with virtual parties. And there are some more advanced skills that go beyond virtuals that we're just not doing in this class, but there are some advanced skills outside of that with some online marketing techniques as well. But I am personally not a reach or outer at all. I will definitely look when I start my business, and if you're brand new, I will teach you how to look at, Kara's brand new, so I'm going to teach her how to look at who do we really know that would be a great hostess for us, that does value health, or that is your best friend that would pick you up off the side of the road if your car broke down. These are great people to host parties for you, and you don't need to feel bad like you're doing something to people to ask them to host. But I'm never going to get you in the place where you have to spam the 200 people on your Facebook because you're out of hostesses. If you get to that place, you didn't take the training. You didn't do the 5 days very well next week, because I promise we don't want to get there. We want to work so hard to get our initial parties booked and to never, ever, ever, ever leave a party without a booking off that party. And come hell or high water, I'm getting a booking. And Lindsay was like, how do you do that? And I'm like, I need to put this in a training. I don't even do a good job of communicating like how I often am like, I will clean your house, I will babysit your, what do I need to do to get a party? Not really, but kind of jokingly. But I just listen and create relationships and make connections with people and ask questions. And that's going to be one of the first things I teach you guys to do, because that's the only way that you'll ever be able to ask somebody for a party, is if you've gotten to know them and you can even find a need. Okay, I'm going to give you guys scripts, outlines, tips, tricks, games, graphics, but you guys are better than that. Here's the last part I'm going to end with. The best part about parties is I am not going to teach you to be me, and I am not going to ask you to go recreate and copy and paste, because you are way better than that. You will continue to be stuck if you can only copy and paste. And if you've subscribed to the best copycat wins theory, here's the bad news. Everybody's copycatting everybody, and when you do that on social media, Facebook's not showing it to anybody. So if you've never heard that before, this whole best copycat wins and everybody copying each other's graphics and copying, it's damaging everybody, because Facebook will screen it out if it keeps popping up over and over. So I'm going to give you guidelines and tips and tricks and scripts, but I'm going to teach you to be you inside of your party. And if that doesn't allow you to breathe, like, I just have to be me, like she's going to give me the outline and I've got freedom to be me. If that didn't make you just breathe a little bit of like a sigh of relief, I'll say it again. All you have to be is you. I'll give you the guideline. I'll give you some scripts, but you're going to learn to think for yourself, and your parties are going to be authentic to you. That's the only way you're going to win. My parties became authentic to me when I quit telling myself, it's not good enough. I have to be Carlita. I have to do it like she does because she knows a lot of things and she's got the presentation. I thought that's the only way I could do it because I knew that worked for her. It doesn't work for me. Live video works for me. Being myself works for me. Having my kids come in and interrupt works for me. When you do what works for you, you're going to win. So please just know that's all I'm going to teach you to do. And Justin's not on here right now, I don't think. But I love when Justin, I don't know, he was talking about yesterday. He was like, I love Arbonne. I'm never quitting, but I've got to figure this out. No, you don't. You got to figure out how to quit, like trying to figure something out, and just figure out how to be you on camera. Tana said on her video that she was going to like put makeup on and stuff, but that, you know, I was like, just go be you, be authentic, be vulnerable and be real. Do it with skill and purpose. I am going to help you understand, like, you're not going to skip a step, but don't overthink the part that I used to try to be Kim Lacefield all the time. She's short and to the point, and she's very effective at what she says, and she doesn't overthink anything, and I do. And once I just relaxed into me, I started creating like relationships with people. And here's what I want you guys to know from your parties. I'll help you sell a product, I will. But if all I help you do is sell a product, people don't need you. There are way too many consultants, and there's a website called arbonne.com. They don't need you to be able to buy Arbonne's products. So we're also going to learn how not to be plastering Arbonne all over our page, but plastering you. And once you can sell you, you will still start selling products, you will attract people into your team, and you will have successful parties. It's not a wham bam, thank you ma'am type experience. This is my vision, and this is when I decided to really start talking more about how I do parties. I don't think you're going to be like, oh my God, her 8 steps are so completely different than the 8 steps I can go download for $47 from this girl. I think the difference that I want to help everybody that's on here realize is my vision is not a $500 party. My vision is a year from now, you have people that you met a year ago that are still in your business. And maybe they're just coming over because you were their positive, happy distraction. And maybe they were just coming over because they love the products, and maybe they've joined your team. Maybe they just stick around for the giveaways. I don't know, but they will not leave you. That is my vision for you, is that you don't just do this one-time party and it's over. I want this snowball effect of things. And that's why also next week when we learn the different steps, and next week's gonna be more fun, don't worry. But when we learn the steps to doing parties, yes, it's a system and yes, it's steps, but it's really okay if it doesn't pan out immediately, but we are going to learn to be on purpose, and we are here to, you know, share the products and to make sales, and we're here to make money. Nobody can deny that we're here for a business. So we're going to pair everything I just talked about with purposeful action, and we're going to let go of the excuses, y'all. Excuses do not pay you on Tuesday. Excuses do not create a paycheck. I'm just saying, because I've made a lot of them. And when I go look at my statement on Tuesday, I didn't make any money that week. When I made excuses and I let go of my schedule to make sure I had enough parties, just didn't happen. So we're going to add consistency, remove excuses. You're going to learn to be accountable only to yourself, because after this 5 days is over, we're not together unless you go on to a next step with us or something. But you're only accountable to yourself. So I'm going to give you, we're going to, like the 40 faces. That's why I showed you that. If you don't have a tracking sheet of some kind, you're accountable to you. If you don't get in front of 40 people a month, that's on you. I can't make you do that. I can help you learn how to effectively do that in a fun way. You're going to start tracking activity. So when you do your 8 parties a month, which breaks down to 2 a week, my goal for you, if you follow my system, is to have 5 people actually on the party. So 5 times 2 is 10 new faces a week. Y'all follow? 10 times 4 is 40. And actually there's 4.3 weeks in a month. So you should be getting in front of 43 a month if you do 2 parties a week. Okay. So we're going to track that, because if you have that proof right there, the numbers don't lie. Okay, so it's easy to blame others and say things don't work. And this is why I said I would love to see if you type in the chat anybody that's really doing 40 faces every single month with no result. I almost guarantee it can't happen. If you do this enough, you're going to get the skills. You're going to figure it out, or you're going to get really tired and you quit. So I want to expedite the process for you, but numbers don't lie. You're going to learn to track your numbers. There's really slim chances of this working for you if you just do it once or twice a month. And just being honest with you, because you're not going to continue to improve. I mean, Lindsay talked about wanting to get more passionate and comfortable in her lives. And I'm like, girl, you are, but it's only going to get better, right? I remember when Jessica first did her lives, and she'd be over here reading off the thing, and I couldn't see the thing, but I knew she was reading off the thing because she kept looking over at the thing. And now she just talks from her heart. She also has more experience with the products, more experience talking about that same stuff you share at every story or every party. So it's only going to get better. Okay. I think that's all my notes on that. I want to read one thing and then I'll just open up for questions. I don't know how many of y'all even know who this lady is. If you have been in Arbonne, she used to be our president, and I left Arbonne in 2012. This book was published in 2012. And I don't know when she no longer was our president. It was sometime while I was gone, or maybe right before I was gone, because then I think Kay Napio came in as CEO. But Rita Davenport is stinking hilarious. She actually was the top income earner in Arbonne, is how she first started, and then she became president of the company. But I'm not a reader. I just don't like to read. I will listen to podcasts and all the things. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm going to read the book. And it's really, you guys, it's really a lot of amazing things. So I'm going to read to you this last part, if I can find it. I had my pen. Okay, life is a choice. I know we're not going to spend our time together talking about all the trials and tribulations and challenges, because we all have them. And it's okay. You're in a business that you are blessed to be able to set it down and come back to it. That is a blessing. But you still have to be accountable to yourself. When I owned my home care agency, there was no setting it down. I was liable not only to 50 employees, I was liable not only to 40 clients, I was liable to state agencies, I was liable to unemployment agencies, I was liable to payroll. I didn't get to set it down. When I had a baby and he was 5.5 weeks old and my employee quit and I got a phone call, I got to go to work and wipe butts and fill in for her as a CNA. I don't have to do that anymore. You guys have the luxury to be able to set it down, but you have to pick it back up, and you have to make sure that you're choosing an okay time to set it down and you're not just letting yourself off the hook. So Rita says, life is choice. This may be hard to hear, but humor me and just take it on for a moment as a what if this is true, a possibility to consider. You are where you are right now because this is where you've chosen to be. You can blame all kinds of people, conditions, and circumstances, but even in those situations where it might seem like you had no other choice whatsoever, You are still given a free will choice about how those people and circumstances will affect you and about where you will go from that point forward. This is a gift we all have. You are where you are because of the choices you've made, whether you've made them with full intention and your eyes wide open, or made them sort of by default, backing into the corners of your life because you didn't think there was any other way to go. You can think of them as active choices versus passive choices, and making active choices has it all beat hands down. And then she just says, success is living every day the way that you choose. And then she goes on and on. But here's why I say that. Why I wanted to share that with you guys, because this journey is still not going to be easy. It's going to be fun. Virtual parties are fun, but it's still going to come with challenges. And some of you, Kara, that's brand new, you're going to be 52 steps ahead because I figured out some stuff and I'm going to expedite this process for you. And my team, I'm glad I finally figured out that I need to put a challenge and a training together for you, because some of you have figured it out. If you stay long enough, you'll figure it out. But the great news is that we've put this together to kind of expedite the process. But life is going to be a choice. So when you enter on Monday morning, I expect everybody, like zero excuses, none, don't want to hear them. I don't care that you're not on the live because I can't tell your boss that you have to be on my live video. That's okay. But you have to make up that live before the next day. You have to, because you came in wanting results, and you're going to give me the credit or the blame if you don't get the results. So I'm going to be very clear. You won't get results if you don't do the next 5 days, one day at a time. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And it's going to be a lot of work. So get ready. All right. What questions do you guys have?